Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it. You gotta edit that. Well, hello. We are at the end of season 3. And today we will be having candid conversation. Work hasn't stopped with my wonderful team. I actually have Stephen and Miss Crystal in here. God knows what they're getting ready to say. Hey. How y'all doing?
Good.
We all right. How you doing?
I don't know. Give me a little more energy up here. Don't be trying to come out soft. Work, don't stop. The work hasn't stopped.
Work hasn't stopped.
The work hasn't stopped.
We know.
Is that why you're tired?
Because it's the morning.
Is it the morning?
It's morning. It's definitely.
Well, how was your weekend? Ooh, don't ask, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's Monday morning.
It's best not to
I can't even
find
say
that
Monday
out.
morning because I don't know when it's going to get posted. You got to edit again, Stephen. Sorry.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I can say this. I am happy that we are making it to the end of the year. And I am ready to hear and see how this candid conversation is going to go with these two. On the first candid conversation, work, don't stop, I really was not feeling it. And they convinced me to do it, and it actually was one of the best podcasts that we had out there. So now I didn't need much convincing. I'm just excited about this conversation. So with that, let's get to it. Miss Crystal.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the main goal for this season 3?
Oh, wow. The main goal was really to have a conversation. It wasn't just about an interview. It was more so having that candid conversation. I mean, that's what we stand on, so why not actually have a conversation? For me, I think that was one of the biggest goals.
What about you, Stephen?
Yeah, overall, not just with the individual conversations, but as the show progresses, almost tell an ongoing story through the conversations. I feel like this particular season, through the recordings, as the audience listens, as I listened while I was editing the episodes, I got to learn not only about the guests, but also about yourself through the stories you shared and the types of conversations that you had.
Oh, okay. So is it safe to say that we reached our goal?
Let's ask you that question.
Well, I would say it is. I can say that we reached our goal. I remember when I put this before you guys and said, hey, I want this podcast to be a candid conversation. I didn't want to have a question and answer. I wanted us to have a candid conversation with our guests. And I have to say that you guys exceeded my expectation in delivering so that we could. So, yes, I would say we met the goal. What about you?
I'll let Stephen answer that question first.
I believe so. Personally, I'm happy with the way the season turned out and the guests that we were able to talk to. And I think that one of the themes this season was change, moving forward, as with a lot of the guests we had, like Marsha, whose life was changed by the stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of had to overcome that. But not only did she overcome, but her life became something way different than it was before. And then we had Bullseye on here.
Oh, yes,
talking
Bullseye.
about how his career was headed in a specific direction, and
It all changed when we went to Russia.
Like a lot of people on here talking about their life changing and moving forward and continuing to do what they have to not only survive but live fulfilled lives.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. What do you have to say on that, Crystal?
I definitely can agree with Stephen. I mean, it was all about change and progression. I definitely see a difference from season 2 and season 3, just as far as conversation and guest wise is actually something that the I feel like the listeners were more engaged to find out about, because it was real stories about healing and brokenness and just what we really dive in and talk about. So
Oh, great. I guess I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what was the most valuable lesson that you guys can say you learned through this experience?
the most valuable lesson I've learned was probably from a couple of different episodes. So when I say that, I'll kind of break that down. So like the episode with Mr. Carter, your past isn't your present. I learned that something that you may have done, whether it was a year, 5, 10, 20 years ago, that doesn't define you now, and what you make is
Going forward.
what you make of
Got
it
it.
now is who you are. You can't really judge somebody based off your past, because then that makes you like a hypocrite.
Right.
That's something.
Because we all have been through something.
Right.
And so if we look at a person based off of a decision that they made early on in their life, we're saying, okay, you're nothing. We want to cast them away. Well, hey, we got to look in our own self, because we've made some bad decisions, or maybe a decision that we made didn't really pan out the way we thought, and no one turned their back on us.
Right.
So, yes, I have to agree with you on that. And that was actually one of my favorite, because that conversation with my husband didn't go the way I thought. I mean, he was just so open and transparent, and that speaks to who we are. You know, what you see is what you get. So we're not sitting on this platform trying to be holier than thou or paint a perfect picture, because we're far from that. With that being said, is there any one guest, Stephen, that stood out to you outside of that one?
I don't know that there was any one guest. I kind of want to go back to the question you asked Crystal about what I learned from the season.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily from trying to put the episodes together is nothing ever really goes according to plan. At least not your plan.
Right.
Like
So true.
We had a vision of what we wanted at the beginning, and it didn't happen exactly how we wanted to, but I feel like it happened the way it was supposed to. We didn't get all the guests we wanted, but we still got the guests that we did. And I feel like those conversations, a lot of them even touched on that sort of idea that we can try to make plans, but it'll go in a completely different direction, but it's probably for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I agree with you on that, because I think one of the things for me, just leading up to every show in preparation for the show, what I enjoyed the most is watching and being a part of you guys making sure that we delivered candid conversation, great content out there to the listeners. And for me, I'm very, very proud having you all on the team, because you guys are so into this. It's not just a job, it's actually who you are. You got a true passion for this podcast and making sure that the listeners are getting good content. So I want to say thank you to that. What is the most difficult part of creating this season? What was the most difficult part? Okay, Miss Crystal, I see you.
I want to say kind of like not necessarily booking the guests, because we might have a guest in mind for a particular episode, or we might feel like, oh, if we find a guest and they go with that particular episode, but people be busy on a day-to-day schedule, and certain things are not guaranteed.
What do you mean? People meaning us or them?
Them.
Them. Okay, well, let's talk about it. So people...
I didn't want to just throw nobody
Well, we won't throw anybody specifically under the bus. So are you speaking of, because we're actually giving our listeners a behind-the-scene look of work hasn't stopped. So when a guest agrees to come on the show, there are certain things that they have to do prior to, and just kind of following back up. Is that what's...
Yeah, I definitely feel like the follow-up is where the miscommunication comes from, because they can be all for it. Like, when we reach out and then, like, we getting towards, like, the process, and then there's no response or a dead response.
Well, is there anything, since it's us, is there anything that we can do to improve that process? We are now a year in of doing this. We've learned the things that have worked. We've also seen some things that didn't work and some things that we can kind of tweak. Is there anything that we can do starting next year for our next podcast that we can do differently to improve that process for them? Because after all, they are our guests.
Steven, what you think? Because me personally, it's the process that we do have already is a good process. And so it works for us. However, I think we can improve it just a little bit by just doing more extensive research and like more extensive research on that guest specifically, or just a broader research in the thing. Like, we don't just have to look for one guest. It can be multiple people on the podcast.
What's your thought on that, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the process for booking guests, I think we have a pretty solid foundation for doing so. And it's not necessarily changing the process. It's just probably getting in touch with the right people and reaching out to the people that believe in the vision for this show and the type of content that we want to put out. We've contacted people who, they've reached out and said, this doesn't align with my brand. And honestly, that's okay, because, we don't want someone on here who's
not going to align with our brand.
Right. Or who we're not going to align with theirs.
Their brand, exactly.
Like, we wouldn't put somebody on here that, our audience would be like, what are they talking about?
Right. Exactly. Okay. Now we're going to move into growth. Has the show grown since you originally started putting the episodes out? Has it grown any? What's your thought?
What's yours?
Well, for me, I really think it has. I think that as I listen to myself and listen to the podcast and the past podcasts, I can specifically say I've grown. And so if I've grown, the podcasts have grown. The feedback that I get, I'm definitely pleased with the feedback that I'm getting. Please keep giving me the feedback, guys. Good, bad, or indifferent. I always like to say, a lot of times people like to shy away from negative feedback. But negative feedback is not always bad. That can be a good thing, because it's probably one or two things we can tweak that can make it good feedback. So I can tell you that I've grown. I see the podcasts have grown, and I think our listener base has grown as well. What's your thought?
I agree. I definitely think, like I said earlier, you can definitely tell there's been a change, whether it's a slight change, a medium change, or just something like, oh, well, they did this differently. Like, it's something that people are actually paying attention. Not that they wasn't paying attention before, but it's more conversations that they can actually
relate to.
Yes,
I agree with you.
It's conversations that, whether it's with a life coach or whether it's a lady that we met just in passing,
yes.
You can still have a good, candid conversation about that specific topic and not feel like you're not having
boring.
a realistic. Yeah, it's a realistic conversation.
Okay. What about you, Stephen?
Definitely, especially on the Facebook page. I mean, the show started not even a year ago. And it's like 1,000 followers on Facebook.
Yeah.
I listen to some shows they've been doing it for 4 years and they're celebrating their 800 followers.
Wow.
I feel like it's something that we're doing that's resonating with people.
Wow.
And also about the feedback as well. Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and review.
Yeah.
We read those. If you have the time, please, because it's really going to help the show grow. It's going to help us understand you guys,
what you want to hear, what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we pay attention to our stuff. So if you know someone who you would like to listen to, have a conversation with, if you would like to share something,
we don't mind listening to other people's stories.
Right. Yeah, we have an open door policy.
Right.
Yes, literally do. And this is coming from the team, because we really want to have conversations with everyday people. I mean, from all walks of life, from across the country, from anywhere. That's something that we've done this season.
We've definitely been more diverse with the people, with the guests, for sure.
Yes.
It's not just been people that's been in the state of Texas, let alone in the Houston area.
You're right. So, I mean, we've even went out the country and had conversations. So I think that's, if I can say next year. I'm excited about the direction of this whole show and where it's going because we're definitely on the right track.
The Love and Victory Show with Val is brought to you by L&V Enterprise Resources Incorporated, a nonprofit equal opportunity provider for people living with disabilities. When you donate to L&V Enterprise Resources Incorporated, not only are you helping someone further their education, acquire job skills, and find a job, you are also doing your part to create a stronger, more diverse, and inclusive society. L&V also provides resources for counseling for the disabled and their families. To find out more, or if you'd like to make a donation, please visit lverinc.com or call 832-336-0126. Once again, that's lverinc.com or 832-336-0126. With L&V Enterprise Resources Incorporated, the possibilities are endless. Let's explore them together. VK Consultant Group is a proud sponsor of the Love and Victory Show with Val. Are you thinking of starting a medical practice and need some help? Well, VK Consultant Group has been awarded Top Medical Practice Consultant Service of 2020. For over 3 decades, they've offered services like concierge medicine, credentialing, billing, revenue cycle management, and so much more. For more information, visit vkconsultantgroup.com or call 713-893-7401. Once again, that's vkconsultantgroup.com or 713-893-7401. VK Consultant Group, your competitive edge.
I want to ask a question, and I guess, no, I don't want to ask a question. I want you guys to ask a question of me. What is it that you all need from me?
I think the people need to see you more.
Okay, that's fair. You guys have been saying that a lot to me. And I know that's something I'm going to have to.
Eventually, I mean,
I got to get out of this.
Right, yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to be very honest with you on why I haven't shown more of me.
Okay.
It's my own insecurity. And I think, again, this is me being very transparent with everyone. And I like being honest. And so one of my goals for 2022 is to get out of my headspace. I'm very good at showing others and being there for others. I need to be there for myself. I mean, I'm just in my head. Why wouldn't I want someone to see me? It's not about me trying to be all that. And those are the little thoughts that go in my head. I don't need to be out there. I'm not trying to be out there, but that's not what this is about. I got to get out of my headspace. So I'm going to give it to you guys now.
It's so funny that you said you're going to get out your headspace, because I remember when we had this conversation about work don't stop. The first time you were saying how it was very hard for you to even listen to yourself, and you eventually got over that because the positive feedback that you was getting from the podcast. Mm-hmm. So you got out of your head with that. So is it difficult?
Well, it's making that decision. You know, if you go back to the radio show, it was actually very helpful this past Saturday. The little girl in me is still there, you know, and a lot of times, and I think in all of us, and it comes up in different ways. And I think me not wanting to be out there has a lot to do with probably some things that I've either have heard others say about me growing up as a little girl, you know, so maybe that's what that problem was. Or, you know, we let other people highlight what they see as a flaw in you, when in actuality we were all been made perfect in God's eyes, so in the image of him. So I'm going to say in 2022, I am definitely, you guys are get ready, y'all going to see more of me. I'm going to give them just what they asked for. Okay. I also have to make time.
You do.
That's another thing. I'm going to have to be intentional about that. So, team, hold me accountable. I'm asking you guys to hold me accountable. And if you guys don't want to see me out there, or when you see me out there, if you don't like something that you see, let me know. If you love what you see, let me know. All right. There we go. What else? What else y'all have for me? Stephen, what about you? That was her statement.
It's a learning process. It's a growing process. And I have seen your interviewing skills improve. I remember it was on one of the first episodes we recorded. You put down the sheet of paper and you stopped using it. And that was a moment when I was like, yes.
Yeah. And for me, and I'm glad you brought that up. This whole journey of radio and podcast was never something I even thought about doing or even had a desire to do. It just kind of, I want to say God just dropped it in my life and I absolutely loved it. So I've had to learn through this whole process what that looks like, what it's supposed to be. I remember, when we decided to do this, it was easy to put it together, come up with a brand, come up with a name. I remember the very first day that we sat in this podcast room and I had to do it. I was petrified. I couldn't even get the name of the show that I created. I couldn't even say it. So then the paper became a crutch. Because I had to look at it, even though I had to look at it and kind of know that was a crutch. And so it started off from that as being, actually it was, I don't want to use it as a crutch. It was a way to help me get through it so I can get out of my head space and and ask questions. But that's not what I really wanted. I don't want to ask questions. I want to have a conversation. And that was how the whole show was derived, from a conversation, but I ended up having questions, asking questions. So
it's more like a Q&A rather than two people sitting down and talking.
Exactly. And that's what I'm looking forward to in 2022, moving away from questions, just having a conversation. And I think we've gotten away from that. But I love the direction. We've made some changes.
Yeah, we've made a couple of changes. I mean, peep the new logo.
Yes.
Peep the new branding.
Yes, yes.
Just different things.
Redid the website.
Yeah.
And, I think what we've been fortunate enough to do is really this third season, we've made some major changes because we've been able to streamline our content. We've been able to then promote our guests that have come on, that have written books, our authors, and put them in on our website, created a book club so that you can go right to the website and it'll take them straight to the link where they can go purchase the book. I think one of the things that I love most about this season is that you guys actually listen to the podcast and you give me feedback. I mean, they really do give me feedback. They give me feedback. They let me know if it's good or if it's bad, or what we need to tweak. And I like that. I like having honest, direct team members. So,
I have a question for you.
oh Lord, here we go. Yes, what?
It kind of spins back to, it was a question that you had asked me and Steven a little while ago. But to you, in season 3, who was one guest that kind of changed the way you saw something or motivated you, or I don't know how you?
I actually, as weird as this is going to be really, really weird. There were so many great guests. And so I enjoyed them all. And I took away something from every guest that came on. But there was one guest that, I have to be honest, I didn't expect that was going to move me the way she did. And it's the guest, Steven, that you met on the bus. And Miss Bridget. I think for me, and again, that goes back to what I always say, you can't judge a book by its cover. You have to be willing to have a conversation with someone before you can say whether or not you like or dislike, or it's for you or you don't like. It's kind of like with you. I don't like blueberry muffins. Remember that day? And I said, just taste it. And you just tasted it, and
it was all right.
You actually liked it. So it was kind of like for me when Steven brought this opportunity to me, honestly, I wasn't really feeling it, but I had to trust him because I know that he has the best interest of the show, the brand, and especially me at heart. So I trusted him in the process, and I have to say that yes.
Okay. And was there anything that you just learned out of all episodes, what was like one of your main takeaways this season?
Stroke back. You know, did I say that? I think, what was
A
it? What
stroke
was it?
forward.
A stroke forward. Yeah, a stroke back. Lord have mercy. I think that the takeaway that I got from all of them, I think it's two. I think it was that one and Nicole. It was just not giving up on yourself. Just keep pressing forward.
And do you have that mindset with how you see season 4?
Oh my God. Let me tell y'all. All I can tell y'all have to tune in. I am so excited for what season 4 is. If you guys like season 3, if you got through season 1 and then you enjoyed season 2, but if you love season 3, oh my God, season 4, is it going to be season 4?
Season
Yeah,
4.
season 4.
Oh my God. I'm excited. I'm really excited for what we're going to put out there. Season 4 is going to be something. It's only going to get better. The thing that I'm excited about the most is because the team is consistent. And since the team is consistent, the team knows what is expected. And you guys advocate for the show, the guests, and for me. And so I'm excited. I'm excited. We're going to take this conversation real deep this season. We're going to talk about interracial marriages, relationships. We're going to talk about homosexuality. We're going to talk politics. We're going to have those difficult, candid conversations that are going to be respectful, but it's going to be honest. But we're going to have that conversation. We're going to open this platform up to truly, we talk about loving all people, being here for all people. We talk about, we're not going to judge people. Then why are we afraid to have this conversation because one or two people may be offended? That's just not the conversation for you. But we are going to do this in 2022. Are y'all ready for it?
I'm ready.
I'm excited. I think there was one other topic that I'm just going to go ahead and put out there. So guys, get ready. Homosexuality in the ministry. We're going to talk about that. I know that there are going to be some people that are going to have a difficult time with it. But it's something that's really happening. It's going to be candid. I'm going to have my own son on here. And we're going to talk, when we talk about homosexuality, we're going there. So stay tuned.
And that's why we ask people to leave your thoughts and comments on our social media.
Yeah, yes. We're going to have a conversation about some of the things that women are doing in the church house so that they can stay relevant, is that the word, or to be seen. And then we're judging the very ones that are walking into the church, keeping them out, but you're doing the same thing inside the church house. So,
anything else that you would like to tell the listeners?
I love you guys. Thank you guys. You guys, you just don't know. You encourage me to keep doing this. I'm just so grateful for you all sticking with me this year through this journey. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, safe Christmas and New Year's. And please, please stay tuned. Tell your friends, tag your friends, let everybody know about the Love and Victory Show with Val and the Candid Conversation.
And you can listen to the Love and Victory Show with Val live every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Central Time on lvwithval.com, and just click the radio tab. And right there's where you'll be able to find how to listen to the show.
And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You would just type in the Love and Victory Show with Val. Make sure you subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you won't miss when we drop any podcast, any radio show, or anything like that else on the YouTube channel.
Stay tuned. I told you. Season 4. All righty. Thank you guys so much. And please, please, please continue to tune in, share, and just like us, love us. What is that you always say every Saturday?
You can find us on social media, on Instagram at LV with Val, on Facebook, The Love and Victory Show with Val, on YouTube, The Love and Victory Show with Val. Make sure you subscribe so you can watch our live stream. Also, you can find us on our website, www.lvwithval.com. Everything is The Love and Victory Show with Val, because everything is love and victory with Val. Also, on the website, which is also new, you can, if you feel like you want to be a guest on the show and you feel like you have something that you might want to talk about that could align with our brand and align with your brand, you can actually put in that request on the website now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. That is something new that we have there. So you can go right there, put that request in, and somebody will get back with you. Okay. We are heading into 2022. Get ready, guys. We love you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.